I'm Kristyn Long. I am 19 years old, and I live in Pasco, out on a farm. I am the current 2011 princess for the Horse Heaven Roundup Rodeo. I was about 14 years old, just before I was going to be a freshman in high school. I always wanted to kind of like prove to everyone that girls could do guy stuff too. And so I begged my parents to let me arm wrestle, and they never really let me. And then it was the Irish Games where they have just a little tournament, and they actually let me arm wrestle, and I won the teens there. And so then they have the state arm wrestling tournament at Fair, and my parents actually let me do that tournament, and I entered the teens, 13 through 19, and I actually won. And so they're like, well, why don't you try out for, or go for the women's lightweight, 0 to 147 pounds, and I was just like, okay. No one expected me to win. I didn't expect myself to win. And I went in there about 5'3", braces, really, really young. I went up against women between about mid-20s to early to mid-30s. And I believe I was the youngest girls ever won the lightweight for Washington. The next year, I entered the same categories, the teens, 13 through 19, the women's lightweight, 0 to 147. And then in addition, I signed up for the heavyweight as well, which is 147 pounds plus. And so I entered that, and there was women in there that they were very, very intimidating. And I went in and just went in with a good attitude about it. And I went to arm wrestle them, and I actually ended up winning, and I was undefeated starting from when I was 14. The men, that was where my first loss was the men. My 5th year doing the arm wrestling tournament, they had a shortage in the teens, and so I was doing the 3 classes each year. And so what I ended up doing was going for the men's open right novice, the 0 through 154 pounds. And I took 4th in that class, actually. So at the Calgary Stampede, one of the biggest rodeos in the world, they have something called the International Room, where it looks like a lot of the members of the Calgary Stampede will go out and try to bring in just different cultures, like anywhere from people from New Zealand, Australia, England. Well, they pulled us in, and we ended up meeting some farmers from England that were actually there. And my royalty coach, Buzz Zunker, he actually, he got them to arm wrestle me, and then he told them about how I was the Washington State champ, and none of them really wanted to do it at first, but 2 of them actually did. The first guy I arm wrestled, he was quite larger than I was, and I actually did very, very, very well against him. I give myself kind of props, because he was pretty thick. And, and then I arm wrestled his friend and actually beat his friend left-handed. And then the Miss Cheyenne Frontier Days, Miss Rodeo Cheyenne Frontier Days, which Cheyenne, big rodeo in the U.S., so they were also there in the International Room, and she wanted to arm wrestle me, and she was pretty tall, and I mean, like, she was about my size, maybe, but just a little taller, and she came up, and she was just like, I can take you pretty much, and like, okay. And so at first I was just like, okay, if I lose, I'm going to look really bad. And so I went up and arm wrestled her, and guess beat her pretty easily, and she wanted to go left-handed, so I went left-handed too, and I beat her left-handed too.
So how many people come up to you when they find out and say, will you arm wrestle me?
Oh, wow. Anyone that does find out asks. Every single person. Especially all the guys. Any of the guys that ever find out, they always want to. And so the girls, not so much. Mostly it's the guys.
So will you arm wrestle me?
I will arm wrestle you.
Okay, great. Right. Let's do it.
Okay, when I say ready, go. When I say go, you go. Ready, go!
Wow.
Okay.
Is it running?
Ready, go! Ah! Go, get up. There you go. There you go. Back up there again.
She's strong.